but obviously we didn't have enough. And I thought we had Larry's defense is really good, but I do think we had some incredibly good open looks that we did not hit either inside or on the perimeter. And so you throw 14 turnovers, and the way we shot the ball, and it's a tough win. So we'll just keep working. We got another game on Monday with Coppin State and see how we can do to grow from it.
Jake, why don't you start us off?
Coach, you mentioned SMU kind of speeding things up, especially in the second half. When the deficit started to grow, do you think that did they take 2 more threes than you were comfortable with?
I thought we had really us.
Yeah.
No, I thought we had open when it really got opened up. Now we have to, especially if we're open. So I mean, we had to do that. But I mean, you're looking at the game with 5 or 6 minutes to go. So 4 or 5 points, 8 minutes. We got the lead, I believe. And so it is. There's some threes that you have to take when they're packing the paint. And there's some other ones where we gotta finish around the rim. We got the ball inside, we have to finish around the rim, finish our foul shots, all that stuff.
Just stay right there with Max.
You guys have ridden out slumps in certain areas of the game in the past, often by relying on the three-point shooting. When that is the slump, how much more difficult is it then to ride?
Well, it is difficult, and you take what we're not a three-point shooting team, we're not a throw it inside team, we're not a drive team, we're whatever the defense is going to give us. And today they give us a good combination of that. So on most days and on most seasons here, we very rarely have a shooting day like today. So you just, that's obviously part of it, but it's also, we had some pretty good opportunities at the rim, particularly a couple in the second half and a couple in the first half that we should be making, and we got to work at that.
Swing over here with Chris.
I know you don't talk about injuries much, but can you talk about when your point guards are both struggling? It seems pretty obvious how that limits you.
Well, it is, because they're really 2 very bright players that they give us energy, they give us high IQ, they're really good players. But they won't say the injuries that they just are just plaguing them a little bit right now. They're not going to say that made a difference, so I'm not either.
Right down in front with Adam.
Yeah, Karis mentioned the shooting a little bit, but he also said the turnovers were kind of the big thing that's hindering you guys. Could you address that?
That's what we talked about in the locker room. That was my big point. I realized, I've been coaching a long time, I realized sometimes the ball just doesn't go in the basket. And they had some good looks too from 3, and they didn't, except for the flurry at the beginning by Moore, they didn't make a lot of outside shots either. They're longer than us, but we can. You're going to have those games. We cannot go down and blow up fast breaks, or we started the second half with a great stop and a fast break, but we threw a bad pass and then shot an off-balance shot. It's like, that's not how you're going to win, and our guys know it, so they're upset about that as well.
On the right with Nick.
Karis, there were times where he'd get 2 feet in the paint, he'd get near the basket, and he'd like to pass it rather than go through contact. Is he okay? Is he physically okay?
Yeah, I mean, his body is, at 200 pounds, he's going to get some big guys in there as well. Now, sometimes if he doesn't feel he has leverage, right, can't get the ball in there, he's going to kick it back out. And then there's times he's got to finish, either through contact or around contact by using his speed. But no, he's okay. He's playing a lot of minutes, and he has worked. He's a guy that in practice does not take turns off. So we got to look at that maybe. That our practice is so hard. He competes so hard. How can we get him a little bit more rest? Because he's obvious we need him on the floor in game.
Is there too much on his shoulders right now? Derek's a little banged up, whatever. Is there too much on Karis? Is he putting too much on his own plate?
I mean, that's something you'd have to ask him. I mean, I know I'm going to put a lot of things on his plate because he's a heck of a kid and a really good player, and we're going to give him a lot of opportunities. And our game plan won't change at all after this. He had a tough day today.
We're right in the middle with Sam.
Mark came off the bench for the first time this season, probably had his best game of the year. And right when he came in, he knocked down a 3, which he said was a drawn-up play. Are you doing that more often? What are you seeing in practice?
Well, we've always, I don't know what the magic is, but when you take a guy and take him out of the starting lineup, he comes back, he usually comes off the bench much more relaxed. And so that's a part of the reason I think I spoke about yesterday, that you make that change. The starters sometimes, maybe they're feeling too much. So I like him. I told him before the game, I want you coming off this bench with a shooter's mentality. He is a very good shooter, and we got to use him more like that in the future. So make him in practice, make him in games, 2 different things. I really like that he made 2. So he's 3 for 4 in games the last 2 games, so that's good. If we can open the court up, now, as we spoke, Karras can get to the rim because the 5-man's got to worry about him.
Stay in the middle with Sean.
John, Larry's very complimentary of you and the stuff that your teams run. Can you talk a little bit about him as a coach?
Well, I've watched him obviously from afar because I'm not as connected in the NBA circle as obviously he's been. But I've loved, he's always done things the right way. And then watching his action, I can see why it works, where I don't see a couple of things that he did, where he's running a lot of pick and pop type action to like, he's got good passers out there at that 4-man. So I looked at that and I said, man, that's some things that we should be doing as well. But he's a student of the game, and I hope that I've been as well. Probably not as good as him, but I love the way he's taken this team, gone through and Kennedy not being in there, still playing pretty high-level basketball. And they have a chance. I mean, they have a chance to be good. And a lot of it's their players, but you got to say Larry's just doing, and the staff doing a great job.
Come right down here with Patrick.
Coach, even though Marcus didn't play a whole lot of minutes or stat line's nothing impressive, did you prepare for this game thinking he was going to play, or did the news that just broke yesterday kind of shock you?
Well, no, we weren't shocked by it, but we did mention in all the scouting reports, we had no idea. But knowing how semesters end, if the grades are reported in and they're registered, I knew he'd be eligible. So I think we were thinking that he would be able to play. But did we prepare for it? We did, film from last year. We showed the kids film from last year of him he's a beast. He's really strong. So we didn't know if we'd play, but as soon as we knew he made the trip, that means he's eligible, because ineligible players aren't allowed to travel. So we knew if he's eligible, he's probably going to play, but probably wasn't in game shape yet. So a few minutes, and he had some productive minutes in there with a couple putbacks.
We got time for a few more. Rod?
John, different team. Karras is a different player, but how much do you miss just a knockdown shooter and scorer in the mold of a Tim or a Nick or somebody like that you can just drop a play and you can count on him hitting that shot? How much are you missing that?
Well, it gives us so much more space to work. I mean, really space to work. And we with Derek and Spike, they can obviously do that. Zach is shooting his level percentages are going to go up. I'm just telling you, it's going to go up, because he's trying to get more arch on the ball. His shot had flattened out. But it's been big to have guys that you could count on. They were 2 for 5, 2 for 5, 2 for 5, or maybe 3 for 7 every night. And that hasn't happened in these 4 games, and that's why we've lost 4 in a row. That's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons why we've lost 4 in a row.